That's the second time that's happened, hasn't that, Joseph? That happened like yesterday. When my system resets, it mutes everything. So hopefully you guys can hear me now. Good morning. I'm really glad that you're here. If you're here for the first time, my name's Tyler, and I'm glad that you decided to join us. We're going to be navigating you through the wild world of day trading futures. And I'm going to be sharing my daily trading bias. We're going to be talking about ICT concepts, order flow, price action, order blocks, all that good stuff. We're going to give you a front row seat to all the action. So if you're watching this after the stream, you can find all the trades that have been taken using the chapter markers below. And lastly, if you are looking to take your trading to the next level, you can use the code DTJ. Apex decided, coincidentally enough, to do another 80% off sale. That is the standard. That's where you can get a 25K account for $29 and a 50K account for $33. It's one of the better deals on the market. I just got another one this morning. So if you want to do that, you can use that code down in the description and on the screen. It will give you the most updated discount Apex is offering. And with that, let me go ahead and change it. Let me change it. Boom. Right there. Just like that. Okay, good morning. How's everybody doing this morning? Let's go ahead and open in prayer, and then we're going to get started off. Father, we thank you for the opportunity we have to build wealth. Thank you for the opportunity to trade. Lord, we just ask for your wisdom this morning. Thank you that you've given us the gift of patience, the gift of wisdom. Lord, and I just pray that you would give us wisdom beyond our years, give us understanding of the market. Father, that we may be able to apply that and have understanding. Lord, thank you. And I just pray for everyone here that they would see increase in their trading, increase in their lives. In Jesus' name, amen. Good morning, Eva, Joseph, MR, good, or Josh, I should say. Good morning, MR. Glad that you guys are here this morning. Matthew, good morning. We are 10 minutes till market open. We are going to take a look at and see what the market has for us today. Should be a good day. It should be a good day. We're going to be patient. We're going to wait. We're going to do our favorite thing, which is waiting for perfect setups. I'm going to get my copier here all squared away, and then we're going to do a top-down analysis of the market. Top-down analysis of the market, and we will get going. So, Bannock, good morning. Ricardo, good morning. Alex, the Potter, I like that. Good morning. I'm honestly, I think I started pretty much on time, but I'm a little bit late myself. Let's start out. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what we have here. Let's zoom out. Let's take a look and see what we got. We are currently looking at the 1 minute. Let's jump to the daily. We have the daily time frame. You can see that we ticked the previous day low. I don't know why it always does that. Let's just switch that up here. We have the previous day low that we swept, and we're sitting right at those lows. We have yesterday's price action. Is that the daily? So we have already swept previous day's lows, and we're running for the liquidity potentially sitting right down here. That looks interesting. So we're going to go ahead and mark out this low here. Sell side liquidity, we'll mark that out on the daily. And today's Friday, so when we look at a higher time frame perspective, we've spent most of our time up here on a weekly perspective. So I potentially see as we could reach a little bit lower if we do a weekly candle on the wick And I think what we're going to watch for, or what I'm looking for, is do we reach down to the CE of that wick, the consequent encroachment. That's really what we're looking like. I don't see us really expanding too much lower, considering where we are in the week. It's a Friday, and we're still inside this wick, so I'm not expecting a tremendous push, but I do think that we probably run for these lows. A wick there, see if where we end up. Do we end up in here? Do we do a double break day where we run the low and the high? We'll see if that wants to do that. Looking on a 4-hour perspective, well, we've sold off, reaching for the sell side liquidity like I've mentioned. And there is no more 4-hour fair value gaps. The last fair value gap is right here, which we are currently sitting in. We have the hourly time frame. We started seeing that expansion at 8 a.m. We swept that high. You can see that high has been swept, and we're in the 9 a.m. candle. So based on the 1-hour reversal model, we have 1, 2, 3. We're looking for a 3-minute fair value gap from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. So if we just drop down, I'm just curious to see. 9 a.m. began right here. Right, there's 9 a.m. and we have not had a fair value gap. So we're simply looking for a 3-minute fair value gap for it to tap into, and then we can work and we can join in on that expansion. Actually, technically, it would be a 3-minute. So if it comes back up into here and we find resistance here, I like this as a potential entry reaching for this sell side. We'll see if it actually does that before we reach sell side. If we reach sell side first, I would assume this is going to break. It's not going to hold. We'll see if it wants to do that or not. 15-minute perspective, as you can see, we're just pretty much selling off here. So let's go ahead and mark our London highs. We got London high sitting here at 3 a.m. London high. And then let's go ahead and mark midnight open. And then let's go ahead and find our opening range gap. And that time is 4:15 is the time that we want. So it would be right here. We're looking at something like that. And then last but not least, we will do our change, our new day opening gap, which is going to be here to here. Mark that out. All right, so we got everything on the screen. So you can see that we got stuff sitting over here. But obviously we're selling off right now. So I'm not really interested in the 930 model right now. We're really close to this sell side liquidity. Here's that 3-minute fair value gap that we are currently inside right now. I'm interested in taking this to the downside here. Where did my line go? Where are we at? What just happened? Am I missing something here? Oh. I marked up ES. You are correct. Oh, man. All right. Well, either way, we're probably missing. Open. Did I do all of that? We've grabbed Tuesday's low. Yeah, I think you are correct. All right, we're going to have to do this over again. We'll probably miss open here. I do like this idea of pushing higher. Let's see if 930 looks good. I mean, it goes higher. We swept the lows. I think I will take that long. We'll get that out of the way here. Yeah, I didn't realize that. I was doing all this stuff, not realizing I was on ES. All right, 930 mono played out. Now that that's done, we're gonna get all squared away here. I'm sorry about that, guys. A little discombobulated. Well, it's good to see it on ES at least. At least we have all that done now, right? All right, so here is midnight open. Here's our London high. Nice expansion that we're seeing on NQ right now. Let's drop down to the 15-minute here. And let's do our opening range. Let's see where that's going to land us. That's our opening range. I mean, it's too early to see if this is just going to be if this is a breaker. And I'm looking at this right here. It would be easy to call this a breaker, but I think we got to be careful, considering that we have been selling off a little bit. We do have this low down here. See if it wants to reach for that. What low is that for, guys? I'm pretty sure that's on that's Tuesday's low. Did we grab that already? We did grab that already. Pre-market. Let's see if it wants to run it in the London session here. Or excuse me, in the New York session. And we still haven't gotten our first fair value gap yet. Here's that 3-minute fair value gap for the continuation of that hourly reversal. It hasn't been broken yet. We'll see where this candle, how this candle wants to close. So we have a nice big candle here that ended up closing inside of it, and after right at 9:30. So this is the hourly reversal model based on it. Oh, not the hourly. It should be the 5-minute. Hourly. You can do it on the 30-minute as well, but we're not doing the 30-minute. So it would be the 5-minute. Do we have a 5-minute fair value gap? I apologize, not the 3-minute. It needs to be the 5-minute because I was looking at the hourly. Very small fair value gap right here that it wicked up into and through. But ultimately, guys, I do think that we run a little bit lower. I know we've hit sell side here. Let's see if it wants to push any lower. When we just look at the daily time frame on ES looks like it wants to go lower. We played inside this range from this high and this low. It was really a inside day here yesterday. And we have low resistance liquidity sitting right here. Do I expect it just to drop? I don't think so. But how far we want to go down, I'm not sure. I just don't know if we've reached the bottom yet. I don't know if we've reached the low. Buenas noches, my friend. Bannock, you're in a paper long right now? Or are you still in that paper long? Barely. All right, so what have we not? We just got our first fair value gap today. So there it is. So we'll mark that out. But I'm not liking the price action so far. I don't like where we are and where it's. Do you guys see this? What am I missing? Am I missing a candle? I have the 15-minute chart showing me that we've swept this low, but I'm looking at the 1-minute chart and it's showing me we have not swept the low. What time is this? 9:25. This must be, I must be missing a wick here. The 1 minute is not showing me it. That's why I'm getting confused. If I sound confused, this is why. You guys can clearly see on my 1 minute chart, I don't have a wick there. Yeah, I'm getting that on multiple time frames except on the 1 minute. So ES has not hit its low though. ES has not hit its low, so I'm not interested in looking at any longs here. Unless we get a change in state of delivery. Or a market structure shift. So we do have an SMT right now. Yeah, Ted. It's happened to me multiple times. Just when you aren't expecting it and it catches you off guard, you're like, what the heck? What's going on? 925 wick hasn't been swept on NQ for me. Yeah, so that would be a mistake. Because if you go to any other time frame, it shows a wick. Except for the 1 minute. Make sure I'm all set up on all fronts here. We're going to be taking trades there. Let's make sure screen share is up. Okay, there we go. All right. Nothing looks good here. This looks just messy. Do you see how it just looks random? It doesn't look clean at all. I don't like it at all. I'm not doing anything. I'm going to sit. It's on TradingView. I have it right here. I'll show you. There's the sweep right there. $9.25 sweep. No, NQ is also showing the sweep. I can show you. I'm looking at the 5 minute. Look at my 5 minute time frame. Look at the 5 minute time frame. This is 925. This is NQ contract M for 2025, and we have that sweep right there. Boom. It's not just M and Q. Oh, no. 925. 925. Yeah, we haven't swept it yet at 935. Technically, if it wants to start pushing higher, it doesn't have to. We have an SMT on ES with NQ right now. Just it doesn't look pretty. Look at that. I'm missing on the 1 minute time frame. I'm missing candle 925 completely. I don't have candle 925. It goes from 924 to 926. SMT, JB, is when the Nasdaq makes a low and ES does not make a low, or vice versa. If ES makes a lower low but NQ does not make a lower low, we call that an SMT on correlating assets. So right here is the SMT. I'll show you. All right, so we got this high to this low. I guess we can't take that because technically it's here, I believe. So here's our low and here's our high. And then if we go to, let's see. Oh, there is no SMT. I keep messing up because that missing candle. I'm sorry, guys. No SMT. This is really, I need to take a break. I'm not doing nothing right now. I feel discombobulated. We'll take a couple deep breaths. But the point's still the same, JB. It's when you have a low on one asset, but not a lower low on another asset. Adam, my holy grail strategy is the breaker and inversion model. Those are the two models that I trade on screen constantly. We just did a breaker and inversion yesterday, and we got 40 handles. I'm making a line there so it doesn't mess me up because it's been messing with my head here. Look at that. It's like it's sitting right there. Isn't that nice? I don't want to make a wrong analysis based on that. I'm looking at the 1 minute. Here's the breaker. Is that what you're referring to? I don't like how we didn't make a lower low. So yeah, we have a low high, lower low right here. If we came back down and tapped 930 and ES and found support, I do like that idea. Right here, we have this fair value gap sitting right here. We did tap it right here in those two candles, but yeah, it failed. It failed to make a lower low, meaning it could just start moving higher. I totally get that. But when I look at to me, this is the market structure shift. We got nothing on the 5 minute. The 5 minute candle, I guess we have a 5 minute shift right here. This candle's kind of throwing me off here at 930. I mean, it's not really running anywhere, so it doesn't tell me that this was the big move unless it starts going right now. If it starts going right now, then great, we'll find something. It's just not going to be right here. Got equal highs now. What's up? I'm Tyler, 1996. Trying to find a good time to trade. Unfortunately, my job takes up time around the New York Open. What would you trade next, London or Asia? Or just wait? If you can do PM session for New York, you can do PM session. You can also trade over lunch, and you could trade the noon macro. If you really don't want to get up early. If you want to get up early, then I would go London. I wouldn't do Asia. Yeah, that's what this sell side liquidity on ES is also sitting there making me be patient. That's sell side liquidity right there. I'm not in a hurry. I'm not in a hurry. I want something to scream my name. Tyler, this is it. This is what you've been waiting for. That's what I want it to sound like. But I wouldn't want to be in this anyway. I mean, I appreciate that it's moving higher if I got in. And, you know, you're making 50 points. That's nice. I mean, that's a trade. Call it, quit it, be done. Ted, you're paper trading it? I'm pretty relaxed today here, folks. It's Friday. Overall, I had a good green week, and so I'm not overly anxious about trying to take a trade. I'm going to let the trade come to me. And if you were here yesterday when we were talking about patience, I got patience. I'm just going to wait. I'm going to wait for something that screams my name. I like seeing a reaction at this previous day low for maybe a 5-10 handle trade. Let's see if it gives it to us. Didn't give it to me right away, so I closed it. It ended up hitting, but that low was a nice reaction point where you should see, we'll get probably a red candle here. This is a newer strategy that I've been implementing, and it's not fully fleshed out for me. Like, I wouldn't, as you saw, I didn't hold it, but as you can see, it's now running the other direction. I told you that I called that right there, said that previous day low, we should see a reaction. It didn't give it to me right away, so I hesitate on those when they don't give it to me right away, but you can see that that easily gave us 50 points. Look at that, 50 points just like that. It's those types of things that I want to wait for. I know I said I'm going to be patient and wait, but I'm like, I like that. Let's take it. It didn't. I got out of it. Yeah, I got out of it. That's fine. And the way I trade those reactionary trades is just 10 handles anyway. And it gave me 8, and I got out. I got out at 8 handles. I haven't expanded that to running for bigger moves. It's just a reactionary 10-handle move that I try to trade. Brady, hey there. I have just started my trading journey. This is my second day paper trading. Congratulations, my friend. Glad you're here. That's exciting. Now, set the right expectations. If it's your second day, that means you haven't been corrupted by the the gurus of the market saying that you're going to start making lots of money in 30 days, because that's not true. Commit to the process, give yourself time, and don't give up, and you will see success, my friend. I promise you that. It just takes it takes more time than everybody here will tell you that it took longer than they expected. And if they didn't say that, then they either set the right expectations at the beginning or they're lying to themselves. That's what this community is about there, Tyler. Helping people along, answering questions, being a resource, encouraging. For so far, I'd say this channel's been that. We've rarely had very few people be, party poopers, I should say. Sifting through the gurus is almost harder than trading itself. Yes. And I had to go through all of that myself. Okay, guys, so far we took 2 trades. We took the 930 model, which the 930 model, if you don't know what it is, it's because you're not part of the Purpose Driven Trader Academy. For those that are in there, they know what that is. We took that right at the open for, I think we got 10 handles on that. And then I did a reactionary trade based on the previous day low. Expected that when we ran into the previous day low, we should get some type of reaction. So I first waited to make sure we just didn't blow right through it. I saw a wick form, and that's when I took the entry. Ended up closing it for only about 8 handles because it just kind of hung there, and I don't like that feeling on these reaction trades because the style is a reaction. I want to get the reaction lower. So it ended up running 50 handles. I mean, that crazy. I mean, just from that high to that low is 55 handles in 2 minutes. So beautiful reaction trade there if you held it longer than I did. Even if just 5 seconds longer than I held mine, it would have given you at least 20, 30 points. So those are the 2 trades we've taken so far. And, I mean, it's not in a hurry to go anywhere. So if you think it's breaking out, don't think you're going to get this big, giant move. It may happen, but don't plan on it. You should plan on taking profits because you can see how it's happening here. Do you have the data high and low for today? I do not. I don't know. 8:30? Where's 8:30? No, that we're not doing no data high and low today. Was there news? Calendar here. Let's see what the calendar says. Thursday, Friday. We had news at 8:05, Canada news. So there was no news today. So there's consumer confidence. Oh, no, that's in Europe. So no news today. So there wouldn't be any data candle today. Does that make sense? You're gonna go to the FX factory. So I type in calendar FX, JB. And then from there, that's where I'm looking to see if there's any news that is relevant to what I want. Since there isn't anything major, there is no data candle. Forex Factory, Bannock, yes. Queens, good morning. Choppy day, yes. We're sitting here just waiting. Based on the candle, I would say no. Yeah, you're talking about the data candle. Red folder news, no red folder news. Yep, everybody's on top of that. No worries. It's part of the learning process. As you can tell, everybody's here willing to help. Make sure we got some clarity on what's going on. So that's what this is about. Thanks for everybody on here chiming in. I appreciate the comments on there. Makes it easier. I am Tyler 1996. Love the advice. Brady, if you're still on, he's 100% right. Find something that you're like, you know what, I kind of like this model. I kind of like this strategy, and commit to the process. Don't overwhelm yourself with a ton of different strategies because there's so many out there. Okay? Not one's better than the other. I can tell you that what you need to spend more time on is working on your psychology, not freaking out if a trade is going red and learning and letting it hit your stop loss and managing yourself and your emotions. That's 80% of trading. You do that, you're going to be just fine. I'm simplifying it a little bit, but it's the truth. Coffee, is that true? Low of the current week. We didn't run the previous week's low. Okay. Yeah, I could see that. Not as impactful for me. I'm looking for the previous week. That's the key level. So you guys can see on my chart right there. I have our orange lines on the previous week candle. And when we get one of those bad boys, those are great trades. Great reactionary trades. And those I wait for a break or an inversion for going in the other direction, and they play out really nicely. Bannock. Wait, what time is it? 9:02. Hang on a second. I think 9:02. Wow, isn't that crazy? Not much is happening right now. All right, look at the reaction towards the London low. I really like that. Let's keep an eye on this breaker right here. But really, if we're going to look at price moving lower, we really need to have a market structure shift. And that's right here. So I want to see a market structure shift. It also would be a change in state of, well, technically, no, because we have a series of up-close candles here. Bannock, let me see what you're, I'm going to read that here in a second. You would have won, as in WN, a challenge yesterday. If you had been in a challenge, I closed 5.1.2s. I was researching. I don't understand what you mean by that. I closed 51 colon 2s. Help me understand that part, and I'll. I think I know. 5RR, 1 to 2 risk to reward. Got it. Okay, that's fine. I mean, that's fine. 5R, but what was the dollar? Is this an eval account? Is this an eval or a performance account? Bannock, is it an eval or is it a performance account? I'm thinking about trying an eval account. Don't get distracted by me. Keep trading. Oh, I'm not. We're waiting. There's nothing happening. There's nothing for me to trade. I've already decided I needed to wait for market structure shift here. We're resisting the previous day low, so I want to see that hold, and I want to see us move in this direction. If we start moving higher, then we need to come up with a new plan. But the plan's set. Market structure shift. Come back up into the breaker, looking for a lower move. Yeah, there's no distraction here because there's nothing happening. Trust me, I've hurt myself so many times in this. We don't want to trade this right now. So let me clear some stuff up on evals and performance accounts with Apex. If you're on an eval account, the only rule that applies is your trailing drawdown. That's it. You got to pass the account. If you're, for example, if it's a 50K account, your trailing drawdown is $2,500. Don't lose $2,500 period or as a trailing drawdown. Trailing drawdown means if you're in a trade, it goes up to 52,500, but then you don't close the trade and it comes all the way down to 50,000. You would blow the account because it reached 52.5, but it came back down to 50,000. So that's a trailing drawdown violation. Okay, so on an eval account, just don't do that. Pass the account. No problems. You don't have to worry about 30% drawdown. You don't have to worry about any of the rules except the trailing drawdown of 2,500 on a 50K account. Period. That's it. So, strategy on eval accounts. Do 1 to 2 minis. Take only the setups, inversions, or breakers. Sell after 10 to 20 handles and close those trades. Don't try to go for the big winner because if it goes against you, you'll have trailing drawdown and it's easier to blow your account. Take small wins. Pass the account, and now we have the conversation about your performance accounts. Performance accounts or PA accounts, those have all the rules because it's this account that you can start getting paid out. The easiest way to look at your performance accounts, the easiest way is to think of trading with Apex in 3 stages. Stage 1, pass your eval account like I just said. Stage 2, do the exact same thing again. Don't change anything about what you did trading-wise except for reducing your size to further protect your positions and not blow your account. Stage 2, continued. That means going from 50,000 to 52,500. Once you hit 52,500, you graduate from stage 2 and you move into stage 3. Stage 3 is now every 8 days of profitability, and anything above 52.5 you can now withdraw. During stage 2 and 3, you have to monitor your drawdown like you do on all the others. You have to monitor your 30% unrealized gains issue. And the way you do that is by taking your drawdown limit, which is $2,500, and multiplying that by 30%. Okay? Well, I'll do the math for you. It's really easy. Calculator. All right, we have a market structure shift. We're still watching that here. I want to see it close below. You take $2,500, which is our drawdown limit, and you multiply that by 0.3, 30%. You cannot lose more than $750 in a single trade. You cannot allow you to go into drawdown $750 in a single trade. I like this position right here, folks. It's hitting the breaker. We swept the low. Let's see if we respect this fair value gap. I'm going to take that, actually. I think that's worth taking. I did not get my stop loss on there, so we will do that 91. Just going for this low right here. That will be 30 handles. We're going to move stop to break even. We broke the low. I'm going to go ahead and close that. That's 26 handles right there, folks. $26 whoppers. This still can play out. I'm not, what did I say up here? What did I say up here? I mentioned that if you're going to take a trade, don't look for the giant move. Why? Look at the price action right now. Yes, it's in our favor, but I don't want to have to deal with this back and forth. I want to get my money and get out. We didn't even hit the low, and I got out. Because I'm like, I don't want to deal with it going back up against me. Look what it's doing right now. This is the main reason, okay? You get your model, you take the trade, you get out. This is not a running low resistance market. This is a high resistance market. So I'm going to take those 20, 30 handle trades, 10 handle trades. I'm going to get it and get out, okay? And it's now going against me. I'm not in the trade. I sold, which I'm so glad I did. Why? High resistance conditions tell me to take short, quick trades, get in and out, don't mess around, don't wait, don't lay like, okay, I'm going to be patient, I'm going to wait and let this play out. No, this is not that market to do it. Today is not those conditions to do it. Could this still respect this level and move lower? 100% it could. Do I want to find out while I'm in drawdown right now? Heck no. I would have been stopped out if I held this position for a lower move. But this still absolutely could go in our direction. We'll see if it does here or not. I don't know. But it's just quick, small trades because the market is telling us it's not running. It's gyrating, I should say. It's back and forth. And that's 3 for 3. I'm going to close my performance accounts. I'm not going to take another trade on those. And we will just trade the eval account. And I should be able to do that on here. Okay. Diane, good morning. Wilhelm, good morning, my friend. Do you trade multiple accounts at the same time with a copy trader or just one? I do multiple accounts. So all those accounts, the account that I'm joining, the eval account right now, it's up $350 as well. That's how much I made on my accounts per account. $350. That's all I need. That's all I need. But I'm going back to the eval account, and I'm willing to take a single contract, one mini contract trade if the conditions show itself worth taking. I'm not going to change my style of trading. I'm not going to become loose. I'm going to stay disciplined because this market requires you to stay 100% focused on what's happening. Okay? Let's go back to this trade, right? Bannock mentioned, hey, don't get distracted, just stay focused. Right, but what did I tell you that I wanted to do? I had a plan. I said I wanted to see the market structure shift, and if we get the market structure shift right here, I want it to come back up and hit the breaker. If it comes back up and hits the breaker, that's the trade that I want. So when it did it, I took the trade. Anything else I wasn't going to do. So I had the plan, then I waited for the plan to show up. If the plan never happened, I wouldn't have taken the trade. Now, I have no plan. Now, I'm waiting for something to say, hey, Tyler, this could be an option for a plan right now. Plan has been executed. Now we're in a holding pattern. We're waiting for something else to present itself to tell us that it looks good. We got our candle back now. They fixed it. Let's get rid of that now. Can you trade eval and PAs together with a copy trader in TradingView? Yeah, I think so. But I don't use TradingView. I use Apex's copier. It was $150. It's separate from that. I like it because I didn't like seeing all the numbers on TradingView. It combined all the numbers and it just messed with me psychologically. I just wanted to see one account, I just want to keep my focus on one account and not worry about everything else. When I was doing the TradingView copier, it showed me the collective number of contracts that I was taking, and that kind of threw me off. I'm like, no, that's a little too much. I don't need that right now. I don't need that in my life. All right, so I was mentioning here, going back to this real quick, I was mentioning that if your drawdown limit is $2,500 and you multiply that by 30%, which is the 30% unrealized gains rule, that comes out, that comes out to be $750. So you do not want to allow your trades ever to go and draw down in a live trade by $750. Now, let's say your account grows to 53,000. Now your account's sitting at 53,000. Well, because you're over that $2,500 buffer zone, you are now in stage 3. Stage 3 requires you to calculate your numbers differently. Stage 3, anything above 52,500, you now have to calculate your starting balance. So if your account says $53,260, that means you need to calculate your unrealized gains 30% rule by $3,260. So I'm going to take this $3,260 and I'm going to multiply that by 30%. Now I cannot allow any of my trades to go and draw down more than $978. As your account grows, you're at 54,250. Now I'm going to take 4,250. You're going to take 4,250 times that 30%, and now your drawdown limit has increased to 5,200. Now, when you hit $55,000, I think it's relatively $55,000. Yeah, I think it is. When you hit this number, we still calculate it the same way. Our starting balance is $5,000, right? So we're going to take $5,000 times, no longer is it 30%. When you hit $55,000 or $5,000 as a starting balance, you can increase it to 50%. So now your drawdown limit is $2,500 for your unrealized gains. And on top of that, your drawdown limit is erased until you get back basically you could lose up to $5,000 before you would blow the account. Because that trailing drawdown stops. That trailing drawdown stops when you hit 52,500. That's your trailing drawdown, but your balance is now sitting at that. So if you lose $2,500 from this point right here, you would blow the account. If your account is sitting at $53,000, well, guess what? You would blow this account only if your account hits $50,000. You just increased your drawdown limit by $500 because it stops at $52,500. You increase your balance again. Let's say you're at $54,200. Well, guess what? Your drawdown limit before you would blow the account is $4,200 because anything above $52,500, they stop increasing your drawdown limit or they stop that trailing drawdown, and it stops at $52,500. So hopefully that answers your questions, guys, and gives you some clarity on that. The market is now pushing higher. And let's jump to the 5-minute time frame. Let's see what our target would be here if we do. We are over the 50% mark. I mean, this price action really isn't pretty. It doesn't seem as if it wants to run. ES still has not hit that low and has left it again. If it's doing it for the second time, I think it's going to leave it there. We're probably going to push higher here. Yeah, I mean, now look at the difference between this price action and this price action. Look how clean the last 4 candles are. It doesn't mean that it's going to stay this way. It could just be a 4-candle clean move and it goes back to consolidation. And the reason why I say that is look at the time. It's 10:24. That's a random time in my book. It's not a macro period that I like to trade. You can still take a trade during that time, but I would rather wait. So, JB, going back to your question, are you able to use the Apex copier on the TradingView software? Can you do a video setup on that? I will do. I'm going through. I get a lot of questions about Apex. So, the next video I'm releasing is how to set up your Apex account. The next video I'm doing is how to connect your Apex account to TradingView. And then I will do how to connect your trade copier to TradingView, and it's going to be through the Apex because that's the one that I use. I use the Apex copier. There's no affiliate link for any of that. I'll just show you guys how to use it if you guys want to get that. If you don't want to get that, you can use the TradingView copier, which it works. It works fine. I'm not a fan of it personally. I know other people use different copiers as well. But I'm planning on doing some videos on that. I'm just waiting for my thumbnail to be finished, and then I'm going to be uploading that first video, and then we will get the other ones. So, Bannock, 3,000 times 0.3. That is correct. Yep, so you got it. Anything above 52,500. Okay, and I'm doing everything based on a 25K account or a 50K account. If you're doing a 25K account, the numbers change. Okay. Seems like the 940 fair value gap play better. It played better today, 940. Yeah, the breaker played twice. The breaker played twice. Now, the nice thing about this is that it's the first prominent fair value gap in the market. That, to me, is more valuable than this small first presented fair value gap. So see the difference? To me, when I see a first fair value gap like this, that to me is almost irrelevant. I've left it there because I've seen price work its magic and respect those levels. But because it's overlapping with this fair value gap, this fair value gap turned out to be really, really nice. So what do we do about that? We take note. First fair value gap overlapping with the very first obvious fair value gap, and we react to it nicely. We sweep or create equal lows. Did we sweep or create equal lows here? 65.50. 64. It ran lower. Wow, that just does not seem like it did that. Wow. My candles and numbers are all right. So look at the chart right here. You may not be able to see it. I'm looking at the low number. The low number for this candle at 9:45 is 63. Oh, that's why I was looking at the wrong one. Okay, 63 even. 63 even. We created equal lows. So when we got this here, this tells me price could come back down here. Here's our midpoint of that opening range gap. Bannock, so you've taken 3 take profits. If that's what you're saying, that's awesome. JB, yes, please. TradingView doesn't allow you to bracket order in copier mode. That is correct. That is correct on... No, I don't know if that's true or not, but either way, I'll do a video on setting up Apex. What about Rhythmic connecting to TradingView? 100%. It's going to be the exact same way, most likely. I use Trade though, so I don't know. I may open up a Rhythmic account just to check it out, see if I can help anybody with that, Queens. Brady, I'm done for the day. Yeah, so Brady, here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna somewhat predict the future for you, okay? And not in a negative way, okay? So you're gonna get to the point where you're going to start saying, I can do this. I'm feeling confident. Look, I'm making money here. I'm making money here. I'm making money here. Keep in mind that demo trades have zero emotional impact on you for the most part. It's completely different. My brother traded demo account for like 3 or 4 months. And he's like, bro, I just made $50,000 on a demo account. I'm like, I can do this. So he went to a live account and he started losing money. So what I'm going to encourage you to do is when you're ready, could be now, it could be later. It depends how well you know your strategy and if you're following a strategy. What I'm going to recommend you do is open a single evaluation account, because that cost will only be, let's say you do a 25K account, that's going to be a $29 cost. $29 cost without the risk of losing any other cash. But it gives you risk. It allows you to put a little risk on the table to start feeling the psychology side of trading, which is the side that you're going to want to put your attention and focus on. Because when you have real money on the table, it kind of hits differently. And so you're going to want to be able to notice that. And when you do notice it, it's addressing those feelings right away, making sure that you're following your strategy and your model without those feelings affecting you. So, way to go on your trading today. Keep up the good work. Keep practicing the strategy. Go back test. Take that same strategy that you're using now. Go back test on TradingView and test it out again. I have a video on how to back test. It's very helpful. And just continue practicing that until you feel ready to take it just that small step, not into a personal live account, but into a demo, into an evaluation account that allows you to put a little more risk, but it really still protects you. That's how I would approach this. So, nice job. Glad to have you here as well. Ted, BPR. Sorry, I'm going through all these questions or comments. Oh, you're 3/4 of the way to the top. Bannock, you do longer trades. Wait, that's totally fine. There's so many different ways to trade. So that's awesome that you're about there. Diane. Diane's agreeing. It's totally different. It really is. It's completely different. So I would when somebody gives the right expectations to somebody, they feel more confident. It's not a surprise. It's not like, what the heck just happened? So my goal is not to sell dreams, rainbows, and sunshine, but to give a realistic approach to be successful that's still filled with hope, filled with dreaming of success, because it is so possible, but it just needs to be done way differently than most people think it needs to be done. When I got into business or when I got into trading, man, I was risking $5,000 and I was just losing. I was doing swing trading and I would lose $5,000 in a shot. Like, crazy. Why would? Now I barely want to lose 200. It's crazy. Ricardo, is that an evaluation account? If you're talking about what I'm talking about, I'm encouraging Brady to do an evaluation account. I think Brady is currently doing just a demo account that you can get. Jordy, what's up? How you doing, my friend? Josh, how you doing? Early in my journey, had 2 huge profit days. I got overconfident from that and up my risk size. I lost all my profits. I am currently in some drawdown that I am working my way out of. That would be, Josh, not to use this as an example, but that is probably the typical story I hear from many, many, many traders. They have early success. It gives them confidence. So they're like, man, I can do this. I've done it myself so many times. I've gone, what you just described there, Josh, is what I've done 2 dozen times, 3 dozen times, because it comes in stages. It's, you get confident, you realize, oh, I'm not quite there. You have major losses. You build yourself back up. You're like, oh, I can do this. You size up. You have big losses. And this cycle. It's this cycle. And that cycle is not what you want to do. You want to see consistent profit for a month without sizing up. You want to get so bored at the current level that you're at the trading. Like, I want to get so bored of trading and making $200 a pop that it's just so boring. It's just like, yep, got another $200. Great. Okay. Well, we'll be back here tomorrow. You want to get bored with it because that's taking all your emotions out. When you size up, what does it do? It creates those emotions, that excitement, that feeling of, oh wow, if I get 10 handles with 2 contracts, man, that's $400. If I do 3 contracts, that's $600. And you get in this psychological state of dreaming that it throws everything off because it messes with you, especially when you're in drawdown. Because now when you're in drawdown, you're not in drawdown $200. It's $400. It's $600. It's $800, right? It just changes everything. So stick with one size. Learn the strategy inside and out. When you have a losing trade on your strategy, figure out what happened. Is it just, you did everything right and it's a loss? That's okay. If you did something wrong, analyze that, journal it, and make sure you can learn from that mistake. Brady, amazing. Thank you, sir. Probably try and get into an eval account next week. Still figuring out logistics on that. Bannock, yes, real money is different. I lost almost $8,000 last year. Dude, I feel you, my friend. JR, don't get anxious, Brady. We all been there. I'm a billionaire on paper. I'm a billionaire on paper too. The nice thing about this account is I can go down into and reset my account and put how much money I want in there. Yeah, guys, I'm glad you guys are putting comments in here because there's literally nothing happening right now. Literally nothing happening. Now what? Heck of a name. How you doing, my friend? This is solid advice. Will save you months, years of pain and manage expectation, reality versus dreams. Reality, my friends, that's the truth. I learned the hard way. And the truth is, everybody's going to learn the hard way because you're going to take my advice with a degree of salt, with a grain of salt. You're going to be like, yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. I mean, I remember talking to my tax accountant and I was asking questions about trading when I was starting out. And he's like, well, if you're going to have losses, I wouldn't do anything. And I'm like, oh, it's going to take me a couple months. It took me 18 months after that conversation before I started seeing money. 18. So just commit to the process and you'll be fine. Ted, I'm not good with journaling. I've gotten better with it, and the reason why is I've realized that the Lord has been teaching me so many lessons in my personal walk with the Lord that I just write them out so I don't forget, because I feel like a poor steward when I hear something or I have a revelation about something, and I just feel like a poor steward with the words the Lord's given me. So I write them down real quickly, just my thoughts. You can even use here's a cool feature. If you go to a Word document, okay, here, and you open a new Word document, okay, this is a nice feature here, okay? If you go to Tools, this is Microsoft, or this is Google Docs. There's this term right here called voice typing. I select it, and when I push this button and I start talking, it will write it for me. So now what I do literally is this. I'll open this account and just start describing what happened during my trading day, what happened during the day, how I felt about it, how I made money, how I lost money, if there's anything that I would have done differently. And then when you stop or you say period, new line, and you can start talking again just like that after you create a new line. Now, sometimes if you keep talking for too long or you wait too long, this button will actually stop talking for you. So you have to reset it, click the button, and then you just click it again, and then you can start talking. And it literally will type everything out for you, and I'm doing nothing but just sharing and talking about what I'm doing. I hate writing. So I found my workaround by using tools like this to help me journal. Because then what I can do is go back and search these things, and I put a title with it. I'll put a title that's catchy, a title that will grab my attention that's related to what I'm talking about. And then I'll go back through and I can reference these days and remember what the Lord taught me, the lesson that I learned for that day, and I just touch on it. Now, I don't journal every day, but I would say I'm doing it on a weekly basis. So, for example, the lessons that I shared yesterday about patience, I haven't journaled that yet, and I'm planning on journaling that because I know it's in the back of my mind. It's like the Lord won't let it go. He's reminding me, do not forget this, write it down. So that's what I'm planning on doing. And that's an easy way that you guys can actually start journaling without putting much effort into the writing down. Now, there's an extra benefit, I would say, to writing things down. There's an extra benefit to writing things down. It helps you remember things more clearly. When you write, your writing is slower than your thinking, so your thinking really begins to dig deep and dive deeper into what you are writing about. When you talk, you're just talking. So when I verbally process all this journaling, I'll verbally process it all out on a sheet of paper. And then I'll drop it into Chat GPT, and I'll say, rewrite this without losing. I'll ask it to rewrite it for me, keeping the integrity of the document. So it's still my writing. It's just synchronized and clear. So I'm not repeating myself over and over in the text. It just makes it nice and short and clean and simple. And then I use that as one of my journal entries. And what's crazy is when I ask ChatGPT to rewrite it for me, or to not summarize, because if you summarize it, you're going to get different language. I want to keep the language of what I'm writing in my document. So I'll ask it to just clean this up, keeping the integrity of my writing, and it will do it for me. But then when I go back and read it, I'm actually learning something from my own writing, because it's not exactly how I wrote it. It's very, very similar, but I'm receiving it in a different way, communicated in a different way that drives a little bit deeper. So these are some tools that you guys can use to help your journaling process. And as I'm even talking about this, I think I'm going to make a video on journaling because I've never seen anybody do anything with Google Docs before. It's saved me a ton of time. It's been extremely helpful. I don't use TradeZilla. I don't do all of that. I tried it multiple times. I've probably started and stopped a TradeZilla account 3 or 4 times. And every time I just can't keep doing it. I like the idea. I love the idea. But the practicality of me going and reviewing and adding all these trades is just, it hasn't been practical for me. It's not something that I can do consistently. So writing or talking out everything every day, that's way easier. And then using an AI tool to basically clean things up so it's not just a repetitive bunch of text on your journal has helped tremendously as well. So that should be for you, Ted. Hopefully that's helpful. Ricardo, so Apex is the best way to try to go get funded. Ricardo, I will tell you that there are other funding firms out there, but I really like Apex. And the main reason, there's 2 reasons why I chose Apex. Number 1, they were the longest standing firm at the time that I chose Apex. They've been around longer than basically any other one, and they've paid out more money than any other firm. Because we're in an industry where these places are just, the doors can close pretty quickly. And I wanted to protect any effort that I was putting into this. And for me, Apex, despite all of the controversy, despite all of the rhetoric of people saying they don't do payouts, their trailing drawdown sucks, the rules are ridiculous, I beg to differ. I think they make you a better trader. It requires you to really trade in a way that protects not just your account, but allows you to make profit with an Apex. So I personally like it. I am, all full disclosure, I am now, because I've used them for so long and like them, I am an affiliate for them. So if you use like the code DTJ, I do get a very small kickback for you guys using it. It helps me keep doing these live streams for that time. But if you want to use the code, you can. If you don't have to. I mean, you can use the funding firm that you really like, or if you want to use a different one, there's no pressure to do it. But I really do like Apex. Brady, you are saying there is nothing happening today. Could you explain the ideal trading day? Sure. I can show you an ideal trading day. It's not an ideal trading day. It's ideal trading circumstances. We took this trade yesterday. Okay? We took this trade yesterday. Now, this isn't the best of the best type setup, but it's great. We hit a key level, London high, LH. This is the high of today. That's why this green line's here. So disregard that. This green line would not be here. Actually, the green line was up here, and people thought we were going to run the previous day high, but we ran the London high, which we ran that liquidity sitting right here, and then after that we got big displacement, 2 giant candles lower. Then we wicked below the market structure shift. We had a market structure shift right here. Boom. We sweep, we come back up into this fair value gap, into this breaker, and we take that trade right there. And then it falls off. It did exactly what we wanted. Now, in addition to that, it came back up a second time, hit that level again, and it sold off again. It came back up a third time. Let me zoom in here. It came back up a third time, to that breaker, sold off a third time. These are amazing type trades. I typically only take one of them, and it's usually the first one. I will get better at taking the second, and if there's a third, I'll take the third. This happens more than you think based on levels like this. Now, the only thing you have to be careful about is when you get something like this, that it does one of these and it heads the opposite direction. That's the only thing you got to be careful about. And it's scary, and it's the main reason why I don't take those second and third ones. But that's a good trading day. The other thing is you want low resistance liquidity. Look at how these candles have very small wicks. Now, this is pre-market, so don't get me wrong, I understand that. But look how clean the order flow is. It's mostly bodies, and it's mostly moving in a direction. Compare that to what we are looking at here today. Okay? Look at the amount of wicks you see in this price action. I told you I wasn't as interested in this because it's not going anywhere. It's just wicking higher, wicking lower, wicking higher, wicking lower, and doing this back and forth. These are the conditions that most people lose money in. By the grace of God, we took 3 trades and we're green on all 3 trades. I'm not going to push my luck. I'm not going to try to make something happen that's not there. I'm sitting on an eval account right now that I could take trades, but even still, I'm not interested in this. It's not telling me it wants to go somewhere. What tells me it wants to go somewhere? Price action like this. We run some data lows, we run a key level, and we aggressively move the other direction. Now, this day, I only took a small trade right here. I took a trade right here for, I think it was 10 or 20 handles, and then I got out. But what would have happened if I held it? That is the part of my journey that I'm on right now, that I'm getting better and better at and learning to hold longer and longer. But I don't want to hold trades like that I'm describing here in conditions like this. You can even see it right now. Look at this price action. Look how up and down, how tight all that price action is. And look how fast this is. Look how it looks like it's going to go somewhere. That's the kind of price action we like. So when I see this, when this happens, I want to take that trade. Now, does it go down as fast as it went up? No. But man, I think I'm pretty sure I still made 40 points in this. And that's all I need. That's all you need. This is not what you want to trade in. Okay? It's better for you to learn to identify what you should not trade in. That is what you need to learn. What do I want to stay away from? Become the master at identifying what to stay away from, and then everything else you can trade. This is disgusting. That's disgusting. Why? We run a low. We reverse. We run a high. We reverse. We don't run the low. We reverse. We don't run the high. We reverse. We sweep this tiny low right here. We don't run the high here. We kind of run a small sell side here, but we don't run this side here. We finally run all of this. Maybe we're now going to go higher. Nope, we turn the other direction. We run this level here, but we don't run this level down here. We come back up. We don't run that level. We don't run that level, and we run lower, but we don't run this level down here. It's disgusting. That is what you want to stay away from. This is beautiful. Yes, in post-price action, it's way easier to identify this. I wasn't able to take this trade. I was in all of this. This is probably a B plus market. What's different about this compared to the other stuff? It's very clean. 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 Little messy. Clean. 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 It's just, it's cleaner. That is what we're looking for as we trade. And this market right here is just not giving that to us. This is not. This is not clean. Okay? That's what we want to identify, is when it's not clean markets. Bannock, my first way of trading was averaging down, down, down. Yeah, we don't want to do that. Ronnie, I'm glad you like the journaling idea. We'll do a video on that for sure. Jordy, it's just called, it's under tools, and it's called voice typing on Google Docs. T, too cool. If you're still on, how do you know if an area is exhausted? It's been efficiently delivered. So, what that looks like is here. It's different. Okay, so you need to understand the different phases of the market. Okay? You got consolidation. In consolidation, what you're asking for does, when is the market, exhausted? Who cares about, don't do anything in consolidation. We looked at that over here in all of this price action. This is consolidating. How do we know when it's exhausted? We don't. We just wait for it to leave. We just wait for it to leave this crap because we don't want to trade that at all. So what happens? We stay in it and we finally start leaving here. Price comes lower, sweeps this liquidity here, and starts moving higher. So it's leaving that area. That's our sign that an area is done with. We don't want to trade in consolidation. We want to trade in expansion. Expansion is when price is moving in a direction. Whether it's higher or lower, we have to wait for price to leave consolidation to find out where it wants to go. But what happens, you can drop it in the chat, what happens before expansion? Manipulation. Manipulation will always happen, at least for when we're taking trades, before you see expansion. What do I mean by that? Well, let's go to this right here. Okay? The market is, we have a nice sell-off right here. Beautiful sell-off right here. Looks like the market's going to go lower. What does it do? It makes a high, a higher high. It's consolidating. It looks like it's preparing to go back lower. So what does price do? It acts as if it's going to go lower aggressively, and then it shoots the other direction very quickly. Manipulation followed by expansion. Accumulation, manipulation, expansion. That's what happens every time, and it's how we trade. Okay? Let's look at another example. Accumulation, accumulation, 2 p.m. happens. Manipulation, it wicks lower, running these lows right here. Manipulation, expansion. Okay? That's the pattern over and over and over. And when I'm looking for my trades, it's in this context. Am I specifically glowing, oh guys, here's our accumulation. Oh, this is our manipulation. Oh, this is our expansion. No, I'm looking for, and the way I talk about it is I'm looking for key levels of liquidity to be swept. So that, this case, in this scenario, as an example, I would have never done this, period, because this was FOMC, but it makes a clear example. I would be waiting for a sweep here and to see that it doesn't want to go lower. In fact, it wants to go higher and say, oh, that looked like the manipulation. It grabbed a key level. I want to look for longs now. And guess what? It only delivers. Long after long after long. We finally get a big retracement after it exhausted a big move higher. That is what you look for constantly. So it's not about finding the points of exhaustion. It's more about identifying the structure so that you can trade that structure. All right, so we started getting expansion. Look what time we started getting this expansion. Clean move. We got it between 10:50 and 11 a.m. or 11:10. It's in the 11 a.m. macro. That's when we have a higher probability of decent trades. So now that we're seeing an expansion, we need to decide how high do we think it could go. Could it run all this low resistance liquidity right here and run for midnight open, the London high, the new week opening gap, the new day opening gap that's sitting up here? That's a possibility, but I would personally go just for the low hanging fruit and see if it wants to reach for this swing high sitting right here. So the only way that I would be interested in trading this, more than likely we missed the move because the move was probably down here at this inversion. We have a single inversion. We close above it on this 1054 candle, and then we start running higher. This is the inversion model that I trade, Adam, if you're still here. It also is a breaker right here. Now, what would make me identify this and say, oh, I want to take this trade? Time. We have all of this consolidation here, but the macro starts at 10:45 and it goes till 11:15. So anything inside this time frame, I potentially want to expect the market to clean up and start moving nicely. Sometimes it doesn't, and you just got to be aware of that, but sometimes and many times it does. For at least a short period of time, you can get a nice move out of it. So right now, could we see price come down to here and move higher? That's kind of how I would want to trade this. So on an eval account, I'm going to take a long in this fair value gap. Let's see if it wants to. There, we're going to take a long right here. This is an evaluation trade. Why am I taking this trade right here? Two reasons. We came down into the first fair value gap, sitting right here after this expansion. That first fair value gap is immediately followed by this down close candle. It's an order block. So I like this fair value gap to hold because there's also an order block sitting right here. Now the stop loss for this really would be down here. And I would move my stop to break even as soon as we close above these these down close candles. So as soon as we close above this, that's when I would want to move my stop to break even just to protect myself in hopes that we run this level up here. Could we not? There's a possibility. Could it fail? Absolutely. But that's the risk we take in hopes that we're getting a trade set up. Now, for me personally, I would have probably closed it when it hit 40 handles. But I didn't because I'm talking about this whole trade in general. And I'm okay if it turns into a loss. I mean, it's an eval account. I'm not going to blow the account by taking one loss, but I'm using this as an example of when and where I take a trade. Okay? So I really want to see this fair value gap hold. I don't want to see it close below it. And if it does close below it, it better go right back up into it. And it probably gets stopped out right here. So that's okay. I'm fine with that. It gave us the initial reaction for 10 handles that I could have sold on. And this trade still technically is valid until the close of this candle. But I'm not willing to take a giant loss on that trade. So we'll watch this candle right here at 11 a.m. to see where this body closes. Does it close below this? Or does it close inside this area? If it closes inside it, that trade's still valid. It's still a valid fair value gap, especially with this order block sitting down here. Many times you'll get these wicks that run lower and then it will start expanding higher. Okay? And that's probably what I expect price to do here. We'll just see what it's going to do. I don't know. So there it closed inside that. Even though it opened below it, I really don't care. I care about where this candle here closed. Okay? So I got stopped out on a still valid trade that probably is going to play out. And that happens because I set my stop loss in a place where I felt comfortable that I didn't want to take a bigger loss on. If you were to want to do it appropriately, you need to set your stop loss on the low of the candle that frames the fair value gap. So that would have been this. It would have been this candle right here, the 1058 candle, and you would put your stop right at the low. That's where your candle would be. That would be the proper location for the stop loss. And hopefully it doesn't tap it out like it tapped me out. But then if it closed below this fair value gap, I would close the trade before it even hit this low. That's just to protect myself and make sure I don't take a larger stop or a larger loss than necessary. Ricardo, you had a question. What's your question, Ricardo? Oh, you trade options. Yes, if you do Apex Apex does futures, so you'd be totally fine with that. Queens, that definitely helps you to become more disciplined. Payouts are real. I got 2 payouts approved so far. Congrats, that's awesome, Queens. Alex the Potter, in good conditions, how many handles do you go for in a funded account? It's not about how many handles I go for in a funded account. It's about where's liquidity. Okay? The answer is where is liquidity? Okay? So when we look at any of these nice low resistance days, okay? So let's just take this example here, okay? This is pre-market, but we see a nice push higher right here. We see a displacement, and what do we see happen inside here? We see a breaker right there, okay? We see price come below it. It hits it and sells off. It tries to come back up and hit it again, but it doesn't quite get there. So it's not the cleanest price action, but this is still a valid setup. Okay. Why is this a valid setup? In my book, if you look left, what did we sweep? We swept some buy-side liquidity. Okay, so great. Check. That's off the list. So now that I'm in this trade right here, the question you need to ask yourself is, where is my target? My stop loss is 10 handles. Where's my target? Well, you need to look on the left side of the chart, left side of this. And where did this trade, or where did this market maker sell model originate, right? Where did it originate? It originated here. This would be your target. If you want to be conservative, you go with the fair value gap that's sitting right above this swing low. Fair value gap, that would be your target if you want to be conservative, or you go for that swing low. Because what does it do and what does price run for? Liquidity. So what did it do? Look how nice. It wicked lower, respected that low, and then moved the other direction. So it's not about the number of handles. It's about where your target is. Now, maybe you're like, this is really aggressive. I don't want to try to get that. Okay, that's fine. So you go for an easier target. Well, this looks like a perfect target. It's followed by a giant, 4 big up close candles. So what is price going to do? It's going to run that level very quickly. And that's exactly what it did here. Came back, references it, and then it continues on. So you look at for logical levels where price may want to run to, and you make that your target. If you're not comfortable with that, set a standard 1-to-2 ratio, 1-to-3 R, and make sure you're getting those if you want to do that, right? So this is a 3R trade right here. That's a 3R trade. Maybe it's a 2R trade that you want to go for. It's what you're comfortable with, and you set those rules for you, and then you just follow them. Patrick, have you done a video on liquidity and inducement retracement? I'm struggling with it. If you have any recommendations, liquidity and induce. I think you're saying. Are you saying retracements, Patrick? Way to go, Bannock. Entered a short 1-to-2 with half risk. We shall see. This is more of a scalp than the last trade. Patrick, if you're still here, inducement, I'm not sure exactly what you're meaning by that. I know what you mean by liquidity. Look how it's respected that this body. Look at that. It's still respecting it. I don't know if it wants to run higher from here. It's staying heavy on this discount side. Yeah. Oh, I wasn't referring to you earlier, Bannock. I was just started looking at it and just was questioning what was going to happen with it. That was a lot of talking. Patrick, if you're still here, I'll answer your question. I just need to know what inducement is. I have a video on liquidity that talks about liquidity. I'm going to take a quick long right here. I'm going to see if it wants to give us a reaction based on this level here. Sometimes it gives it to us, sometimes it doesn't. And it's not, so I'm going to close that. I am trading. It's going to give us that retracement. It just wanted to reach a little bit deeper. And I don't like playing those. Inducement. When the market runs stop losses, then moves in the opposite direction. Oh, okay. When they're running stops. Yeah, I don't even. Okay, I see what you're saying. So your question is liquidity and... Yeah, so I don't trade... I, for the most part, don't trade those stop runs. Stop runs. Here, this is a stop run right here, right? It swept this liquidity right here. I want to recognize that, and then I want to look for my model following that. The only way, for the most part, the only way I trade those trades that I'm referring to before, there's one that was on the 15-minute. Where is it? Was it here? It's right here. I'm pretty sure this was it. So we had this, we have this price action on the 15-minute, and we run lower. I will, when price comes back up to the low of that start, I will take that trade. We run lower, higher. We create, this is a order block here on a higher time frame, and it creates this order block. So when price comes into this order block or hits the low, I'll take a short. Oops. We want that here. So let's go to the lower time frame, see if this was what I thought it was. This is Wednesday at 11:45. So well, I don't think it was this one. But I'll look at these levels, and when it comes up into these levels, I'm saying, all right, we came up into resistance. Now I want to see if it has a willingness to start running the other direction. And ultimately it does. It took a little more time than I would have personally wanted. But you can see a breaker right there. Why is this a breaker? Because the bodies here are lower than the bodies here. So we have a high, low, higher high, and we come up into this breaker right here and sell off. All right, folks, we're going to call it a day. It was a good trading day. 3 for 3 on our funded accounts. And then one losing trade on my eval account that I was just seeing if we were going to react right here. I guess it technically 2 because I didn't close the trade when I was talking. I would have closed it earlier, but I didn't close that. So I guess you got 2 eval losses if you want to count those. But we're going to call it a day. It's been a good one. If you guys do use Apex, consider using the code DTJ. It's the best and easiest way to support me. It still gives you guys a pretty huge discount, 80% off right now. So God bless, stay safe, and we will see you all on Monday. Take care.